Tuning into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Transformers, Robots in Disguise, and AFTERBUZZ TV fans, and welcome to another episode of the Transformers Robots in Disguise after show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. I am your host for the week, Emma Fyffe, or Emma the Speedster Fyffe. You can follow me on Twitter at Emma Fyffe, and I am joined by the fabulous Alexis Torres.
The Wrecker. You can find me all over social media as Torres890, and we are so excited to talk about how crazy this episode was.
I know. I love that Megan and Katie are not here this week. When every week on the show we're always saying, "Oh man, we really want an episode that's a little more plot heavy and kind of gives us more of an idea of the backstory of the characters and what's going on Earth now." And of course, Megan and Katie are off being pseudo-famous at RTX.
Pseudo-famous, like just giant stars.
Yes. they're local con-stars at RTX this weekend. They did do the Ruby After Show was lucky enough to do a panel at RTX, so hopefully those of you who are fans of ABTV Ruby got a chance to go check that out. And speaking of hashtags, you can chat with us throughout the show today using that hashtag ABTVRID. We love hearing from you guys. In fact, some people were actually using that hashtag earlier today, so shout out to the always wonderful Meg Doglax on Twitter. Megan, she is a carryover fan from Sailor Moon and some of the other stuff I do, and she's an all-around awesome person who used that hashtag earlier today to tweet at us that she had acquired her first Transformers action figure from the same series as the Grimlock that Alexis has here. She got a strong arm, and it's pretty fabulous.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
Of course, there are other ways that you guys can connect with us as well. If you're over on iTunes, make sure that you rate and subscribe, and also leave us a review. We love hearing from you guys. And if you are on YouTube, you can always give us that thumbs up and leave comments on the videos. And right now, of course, if you are in the live stream chat room, Alexis is monitoring that. She's hard at work right now typing responses to some of you guys, and we'll keep following along with that as we go throughout the show today. So, episode 21, Lockout. Alexis, what did you think?
Words, things, heavy breathing. I don't even know what's happening. No, but it was exactly, again, I feel bad, like you already reiterated to everybody, was that this is the most plot heavy episode we've been wanting. As soon as I saw them hiding in the trees, I was like, no, Katie and Megan are totally gonna miss out on this episode. I mean, I know that they probably watched it. We love you guys and we miss you. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I really wish all four of us were here to talk about it. But
I know.
I loved everything about it, and I love that it wasn't just like the bots or Autobots trying to scramble to get what they need to do. The humans, sorry, my brain's like
Russell
farting.
And Denny.
Yes, I was gonna say Rusty.
Those
and
two dudes.
Yeah, those guys. Our beautiful, awesome humans were able to actually be a huge part in this awesome plan.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, I think that's one of the things that we've seen consistently with Robots in Disguise that's been really, really good, is that we have had a lot of active participation on the part of the humans right from the get-go. Quite honestly. And here I felt not only were the humans such an essential part of the team, but we saw ultimately that the teamwork of the Autobots triumphed over the, dissenting and discongruity. I think I just made that word up.
That's a great word. I was like, where is she going with this?
Of our pseudo Decepticon team up. Because even though the Decepticons are working together, they're kind of working together out of convenience just because they're all on the loose.
Yeah.
And we see a lot in this episode that they don't don't quite cooperate and get along as much as you maybe would want to with a team of people with whom you're trying to conquer an entire planet.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and I like that at the same point of the fact that our team, I call them our A team, but the team also doesn't get along. I like that the Decepticons. I mean, I think it would have been crazy if, let's say, they were so in sync with everything and able to function. I feel like our team wouldn't do so well. But I like that they're all, like, the whole episode they were sitting there just fighting each other, especially Uncle PJ and
Clamp Down.
I was just like, oh my word, this is ridiculous.
I always love when the escaped Decepticons come back and I get reminded of what their real names are.
I couldn't even hear it. Like, my mind just, like, substitutes the names that we make for them, and I'm just like, oh, all right.
Yeah, Thunderhoof. That's Uncle PJ's real name, right? Yeah, he's such a mob boss. I love him.
It's so crazy because his accent is so thick and heavy that his voice will just comes out of nowhere. Yeah. It sticks out like a sore thumb, and I'm like, just like Uncle PJ.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the events of the episode. Please. So basically, it started off with the team carrying in pieces of a roller coaster.
Yeah, at first I was kind of like, where are they? Is that I thought it was a train track at first, and I was like, guys,
I know.
I feel like the train's gonna need that. Yeah. And then when he was like, whoa, is that a roller coaster? I was just like, oh, Six Flags days.
Yeah, it was this weird, like, sort of amalgamation of leisure activities where basically
look at the words.
I know I'm just a dictionary over here, guys. of sort of leisure activities where they had the Autobots were all carrying in these portions of a roller coaster. Meanwhile, Russell was also trying to teach them to play football.
Yeah, that was really. Did anyone else feel like that was kind of out of context?
Yes, I totally agree with you because that sort of came back into play later when Russell and Denny switched over to being on the offensive and got Clamped Down and Thunderhoof to chase them, so that they ended up, falling onto said railroad tracks. So I guess, or roller coaster tracks. So I guess that's kind of where those two things ultimately come together.
Yeah, it was just, I knew that was gonna have to come back, but I know that it was kind of like an ode to the fact that, he has friends now, and he plays football every Sunday. That's what I'm gonna assume, since our show's on Sunday. And things like that. But at the same time, I was sitting there going, why is this? Why are we doing this right now? Yeah. But I like that, of course, I was like, it's probably going to come back in the episode later.
And it did. There you go. It totally did. But I liked when they were explaining how Denny had come to acquire these things, and Strongarm said, he says it was a steal, which I think is just an expression, but I'm concerned.
And you should be. Oh, gosh. At first, I thought he was going to say, like, steal as in S-T-E-E-L, and I was like,
see, that's the thing, is it can go either way.
I thought it, because he's such a
steal,
because he's so kind of corny. He'd be like, it was a steal. Look at it.
That may be how he meant it, but Strongarm interpreted it as the other kind of steal. Yeah.
But I also like the fact that he was like flabbergasted the fact that they could just work so easily. And then I was sitting there going, these are giant robots that can literally step on you and you die.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that was a good portion of what we saw in the episode, was Denny feeling overwhelmed by how powerful and important the Autobots were, basically. Saying they're so tall and strong, because he mentions that they make it look so easy to put this roller coaster track together because they're the size of a 3-story building and have, space alien robot abilities.
I just really wish that Denny could just I know that throughout the episodes, but throughout the season, we've been seeing that he's kind of like, his self-esteem and his confidence has been either shaken or it's really on point. Like, it's been back and forth. Yeah. And I really like that because, no human is perfect to the fact I'm awesome. I've got this junkyard. I'm a cool inventor. Like, this is great. But I like that he can see these, these awesome Autobots and be like, see, I'm good at what I do, but I'll never be as good as that. But I'm like, I really want something to just like today, change and be like, hey, dude, you're awesome. You're not an average human. You are helping.
Well, and he keeps having his moments of showing just how incredibly useful he is to this team. I mean, we saw it in the last episode in The Trouble with Fix-It, where he fix it and then proceeded to fix it.
I was really confused about the end of that part.
A little unclear. Whatever. Fix-It's got his regular personality back, though. But I mean, you could understand just, especially having seen how just a little tweaking to the inner workings of these creatures can completely alter their personality, of course he's feeling overwhelmed by how great and powerful they are.
Yeah, I mean, he has to sit there and have the stress of trying to hide them, even though now that we had the demolition bowl, like, it's kind of like, maybe it's not as stressful anymore. But I can understand that any, adult who has to deal with their son dealing with these giant robots, and then robots that are trying to kill and destroy the Earth, like, it's a lot to handle. So I don't blame you for being like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know. I'm just a dude with, like...
I'm a dude.
I have a
hanging out with dudes,
collection of beaver statues.
Oh my God.
Or were they squirrels? I'm still unclear as to what those statue creatures were that Underbite ate. And but yeah, so then we see the return of the loose Decepticon team up.
God, it was so great.
It was pretty spectacular.
So
and basically they have come up with this plan to... At first, I was very confused, but then I realized once the Autobots actually encountered the other Decepticon who was tied up. What was his name? He's the grasshopper one.
Kickback?
Yes, Kickback, exactly. I was like, I know I wrote it down. So many animal Decepticons. And when they actually encountered Kickback tied up, and their reaction was... Oh, is there another team of Autobots out here hunting Decepticons?
I'm like, is it because he's brightly colored? Because everyone else is kind of like purple, gray, bluish kind of color. And then it's like bright green.
Yeah,
so I was like,
that's why he was the one that was singled out to be used as bait.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's just not cool.
Though they did say that Kickback was a professional Decepticon lackey.
I know. I was like, that sucks.
That's terrible.
That's it. That's all you get.
Terrible career choice.
Yeah, well, I mean, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, though, kudos to the acting on Kickback's part, because for a moment when they encountered him and he asked, "Hey, could you use a sidekick?" Because in the scene where you saw the Decepticons actually tying him up to be used as bait for the Autobots, I was actually confused for a second. I was like, why are they kidnapping a Decepticon?
Yeah, that's how I felt too, because I was sitting there going, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was sitting there going, at first I was like, wait, is this an Autobot I don't know of? Because it was kind of quick for me.
Right.
And then I was like, no, because his face looks familiar. Oh, okay, I know who this person is.
Yeah.
And then they were tying him up, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So is he giving him away? Are they using him as bait?
Yeah.
Is he being punished for something that he did? I was really lost. And then they're like, we're going to use him as bait. I was like, well, there it is.
There it is. And then, of course, the Autobots all show up, and he says to them, hey, could you use a sidekick? And I was just like, and Strongarm says, no, we already have sideswipe.
And I was like, ooh, burn.
Ooh.
Talk about my Darren Criss like that.
On multiple levels. And then he breaks free. He wasn't actually tied up.
Yeah.
And we find out that, of course, the Decepticons have used him as bait to lure all of the Autobots away from the base in the junkyard.
And that's what I was trying to figure out, because I was like, okay, wait a minute. So the team went out to go find him.
What's the point of this?
Yeah, I didn't understand why they were using him as bait in the first place. I thought they were going to take him back to the junkyard, and then he was going to be the eyes to let them know how to get in.
Sure.
So that they can get to the pods at night or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
totally.
Like, my brain was going into like crazy schematics to get these Decepticons in there. And then eventually it wasn't that at all. It was just like, well, we're already here.
All right. Yeah, so they all break into the junkyard, and basically we find out when they go in what Steeljaw's crimes were, finally.
I love it because I don't know who said it in the chat. I need to scroll back up, but they were like, was anybody else just kind of like unimpressed that it wasn't anything like extensively evil,
I know. Yeah, I have to agree. I was a little bit unimpressed by what he had done, because
Omega Buck 01.
Yeah, I agree with you, Omega Buck 01.
Yeah.
Because there was this great moment. So all the Decepticons go in and Fyffe encounters Steeljaw, and Steeljaw basically tells him, like, okay, you're gonna go release the other Decepticons, and Fyffe like, I don't really know about that. And
for someone who's gone through a lot this season, Fyffe getting better at
he really is.
His feet.
No. I mean, Fyffe improvised a lot in this episode.
I'm so happy for him.
If it weren't for Fyffe's quick thinking, the Decepticon pods obviously would have been opened.
Oh, yeah.
But even with his friends being in mortal danger, there was this sense with Fyffe of, I can't just release these Decepticons because even if I save my friends in the short term right now, this is going to be bad for everybody in the long run.
I was extremely, I mean, I'm always proud of Fyffe with everything that he does, but I love how he was, again, quick to think of like, oh, if I open this, I have to go to the command center to do that, and if I don't do it correctly, things will explode. And I was just like,
I know.
Look at you. And I love how he was like kind of like fitzing out for a second, and Clamp was just like, I was just like, oh, look at that. You're such a sweetheart. Not really. And then, and then he proceeded to sit there and try to do as much as he could in the command center. I was just like, I am thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, to basically stall because the Decepticons don't really know how finicky or not finicky perhaps the system is that kind of keeps everybody in stasis. Obviously Fyffe, being the sort of warden
pretty much
of the Alchemor, would know all of that. And so when Steeljaw is threatening him is when he brings up his manifesto, basically, and that explains what his crimes were, and Fyffe, it's like, oh, I'm very familiar with your crimes, and I thought they were going to be heinous.
I was expecting it to be so bad. It would have been like, whoa.
And it was basically like, one time you tried to start a rebellion, and also you can do stuff with subsonics.
I was like, really? I literally had to stop my episode, and I was just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what? I love everything about him. His voice seems like something that would just, every time he speaks, it sends like freaking goose nips up and down like my body. But like at the same time, just if you really think about it, I was just like, you're not that bad. You're just a bunch of talk. Yeah. That makes me really sad.
Yeah, I really wanted him to be like a murderer, and
Prime has ruined us about this. I wanted it to be so dark if it was just like there was blood everywhere,
and to have stolen ancient Autobot
something
Prime relics. Like, I wanted him to have done something really, really bad. And ultimately, the subsonics thing really did play a lot into this episode with their ultimate plan.
It did,
which I thought was extremely effective, and I was nervous for a moment.
Because he's like, oh, turn off your gosh, I can't remember.
Audio receptors,
And then, and it didn't work, and I was just like, oh man, this is really bad. But,
no, seriously.
But again, that was a pretty big power play, but at the same time, again, I wanted something that was like, oh, we can't speak of this event because it's so heinous.
Because it's so terrible. Yeah, so basically it is revealed that he has the ability he has an understanding of and can create these subsonics, and he has also developed an additional brainwave chip, basically.
I was like, where did
that he has installed in all of the Decepticons that are on his team. Where did he get the materials?
Okay, good. That was going to be my question today, and for the fans, because I did not understand where that came from.
Specifically in the midst of all of this, Steeljaw tells Denny and Fyffe that Razor, one of the mini-cons from Fracture, has gone into their command center to update its security system. And they're like, good luck with Earth technology.
Yeah. And that's why I was sitting there going, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was so confused, but I wanted to bring up something that DBZ King 02.
Oh, yay. We love you, DBZ King 02.
Maybe it was just a short summary of even worse crimes that he did. Flashback, anyone?
This is true.
See, I would be okay. See, again, this is the whole of we want the world book. We want these things. I need full detail of everything that this man has done, just in case if he has done worse things.
No, but I agree with you, DBZ King 02, because I feel like they kind of got cut off. They got to the subsonic bit, and then it's here's the plot of the episode. And so we didn't hear any more of the crimes he potentially did, in fact, commit. In my mind, he's done many, many more terrible things.
Yeah, I think that he's the most diabolical one. Just saying. But I feel that I would like to know, again, another, if there could be, a short of how he made the technology he uses. Because in my brain, I'm like, the technology that we have, again, I don't know what time frame we're in right now.
We're not really sure.
But the technology can't be that far in advance for it to be that amazing.
I agree.
For use for Cybertronian, I can't.
Yeah, for Cybertronian level technology that would be installed into the inner workings of a person or of a bot specifically, and to have that prevent them from being affected by some more advanced Cybertronian technology?
I mean, I know, again, this is a kid show,
Yes,
so
it
I
is.
will throw it back in the back of my brain and pretend like it never happened, but deep down, as the person, the nerd that I am, I'm like, someone needs to explain that
I need a little Transformer science, okay?
Please.
Yeah, and
Someone
it needs
should
to
do
be
that.
based in actual science.
Yeah, you can't just be like, the world of TV, confetti.
Because reasons. So and so basically we find out that he has... I'm unclear exactly what these subsonics are. Did he install them? Because basically...
I'm assuming that's what he did.
They've created a barrier around the junkyard that is only so tall and goes so deep into the ground that you can't easily tunnel under it or easily climb over it.
Yeah, I didn't understand that whole thing. Again, I wanted to just play it off as TV magic, but I didn't understand exactly the logistics of how this thing worked.
Right. Basically, what we're saying is we liked this episode, but the science was a little shoddy.
Yeah, so again, I'm just gonna be like, cartoons, sure.
Yeah.
Same thing with, having Dexter's laboratory being behind a bookcase.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, all of the Autobots are stuck on the outside, and the Decepticons are on the inside, trying to get Fix-It to unleash the rest of the Decepticons, because Steeljaw wants to create a Decepticon army with which to conquer the Earth, so it'll become a Decepticon planet, and he is going to be the ruler of said Decepticon planet.
Which is a great plan for a Decepticon.
Totally, yeah.
And I thought that it was very smart, but in my brain, I was just sitting there going, okay, you'll have an army.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
But what happens when you get out? I mean, these guys are still going to fight to do everything in their power to get them. I mean, sure, we had them one by one by one, but I know there was a point in time where it was just them, and we had a giant fight off.
Yeah.
And the Autobots won.
Yeah.
So I feel like your plan's kind of off. I mean, I know it's going to be like... I think it was Sideswipe who said it. I could be wrong. That they're outnumbered. But I'm like,
oh yeah.
But the fact that they've conquered before, I feel like they can do it again.
This is true. Yeah, I mean, it basically happened when the Autobots realized that they weren't going to be able to get in there. I think Sideswipe actually said, it's fine. We have like the same number of people as them. And B's like, he's about to unleash every Decepticon from Stasis that was on the Alchemore. So like, we about to have a problem.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, so numbers wise, that doesn't make sense. I can math.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm sorry. But at the same time, I feel like even then, because we have the mini-cons and we have potential Denny and Rusty, but like, I feel like because of what happened, I feel like we can do it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too worried, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, this could get out of hand kind of quick.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah. So basically, in the midst of Fix-It stalling, which we already discussed a little bit, Denny and Russell managed to make their escape. But you're laughing about something over there. I feel like something amazing is happening on YouTube.
Mega Wave Renegade here in the YouTube comments was like, as an electrical engineer.
Yes!
I can say that there are, I apologize if I like butcher this whole thing.
I'm so ready.
Say that there is an authentication issue? I don't know if that was correct. When considering a radio transmission, something high power sometimes has trouble moving through certain mediums. So the subsonics could just be like radio frequencies that kill your brain.
Right. And basically Steeljaw has developed some way to block those particular frequencies.
There you go.
Oh, maybe it's not as complicated as we think.
I thought it was extremely complicated. I'm just like, Spectromy and like, I don't know. I just think that I like that you broke it down that way, because now I'm like, the gears are turning.
I know.
But yeah, thank you for that.
Seriously.
Again, I'm sorry if I butchered it, but thank you for
phenomenal.
that. Yeah.
So back to Denny and Russell's escape. Because basically everybody who's on what I liked was that everyone who was on the inside, they didn't turn into damsels in distress.
No, they were working constantly to figure out what they needed to do. It was extremely smart.
Yeah, it was totally awesome. And so the Autobots are on the outside. I did like when they realized that there was a limit to how high the subsonics went.
Yeah.
And Drift was like, we shall get a very tall ladder.
I love that. I was like, really, Drift?
Yeah.
Really,
okay.
buddy?
That's
great.
Great. Good plan.
Good job. God, you're so smart.
Let's just build one real quick. I mean, we're in the forest. We'll just chop down some trees.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
That'll take us like I don't know, all day.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think the rest of the Decepticons might have broken out of stasis by then. Just a
They
guess.
would have been gone with Fyffe
Long gone.
and the humans
Yeah.
at that point.
So Russell and Denny have escaped the watchful eye of the Decepticons at this point, and there's a very funny sequence of Steeljaw and Clampdown going after them, which is where we see that Steeljaw and Clampdown, they don't work together so well.
Nope.
Because apparently, back
my
on
word.
Cybertron,
Yeah, they were like,
Clampdown ratted out Uncle PJ.
and you can totally see that. Clampdown
Yeah.
looks like the guy that sings like a canary. Like, that's just
Yeah,
the thing.
he totally is. He's totally that lame underling in the mob.
Any movie that you can think of, that, you know, that one lackey who just can't keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Like, see, I'm already like channeling Uncle PJ, 'cause I'm just like, that guy, he's sitting there always just trying to, you know, speak his mouth. He's just sitting there on a chair, just going all over the place. Oh god, I can just hear him now. It's the worst. But yes, it was kind of, that's what I was talking about, was that these two literally cannot get it together because of their history, and I feel like that's going to always be a thing from now on, and it's just going to cause problems for them, and that's why they're never going. Me personally, they're never going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, I'm all about Decepticons, but
I
I know
know.
for a fact.
But these Decepticons have got to get it together.
Like, hey, thank you, Emma Fyffe. They need to just get your act together.
It's true.
Jesus.
Yeah, so they're chasing down Denny and Russell, who are basically hiding from them for a while until they basically go on the offensive, and they lead a chase. Again, this is where the chase was great. This is where the roller coaster and the football come together.
Finally, I was just like, what is happening with this track?
Right, exactly, because in the beginning of the episode, Russell had attempted to teach the Autobots how to play football, and he's talking about offense versus defense. He's like, all right, Dad, time to change our strategy to offense. And so they put football lines on their faces.
So adorable. I
was
thought they
cute.
looked like cats more than
Yeah.
anything. I was just like, those whiskers on their faces?
And I just loved that this was totally all Russell, and Denny was like, all right,
Okay.
I guess we're doing this.
You got it, son. Whatever you want.
Yes, we're just going with this now. And so they basically make a lot of noise and distract them so that they encourage the two Decepticons to chase after them.
Yes.
And they run to the edge of where the roller coaster track is, and they duck down, and they end up sliding down the coaster track.
That was so great.
Which was super fun.
I love how just like, I can't remember the top of my head the mini-cons names, but I love how the first one's just like, I'm ready to do this, and then he like Drift throws him off, and then we have the last where he's trying to finish what he's trying to say, because he's this long-winded thing of honor, and he's just like cut off, and he's like, oh, as he's being flown through the air.
Yeah, I also liked how this sequence ended with the most effective game of Mousetrap that has ever been played.
The first thing I thought of was Mousetrap and the movie with Nathan Lane and everything, and I was just like, wow, this is ridiculous. I need to buy that game again. Somewhere on eBay, it's there. I'm gonna find it.
But it never works.
That's the one thing I was thinking. I was like, okay, wait, what do all these games and movies have in common? Oh yeah, that never
They
freaking
don't
works
work
out.
Well, and here's the thing, is that their Mousetrap totally works. The only problem is that Russell doesn't manage to, that Denny rather doesn't manage to catch on when Russell ends up on basically the zip line that zips him away to safety.
I was just like, oh, there he goes.
Yeah, no, they were both supposed to get on there, I think, but he got grabbed by the Decepticons that were pursuing them, and so he ends up back in their custody, and they bring Denny back to fix it, basically to use as a bargaining chip to encourage him to work a little faster.
From that point on till the end of the episode, I was literally at the edge of my seat like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next?
I know. Yeah. So Denny manages to get kidnapped again, but Russell goes to he finds the Autobots who are all still trying to figure out how they're gonna get inside of these subsonics here.
Yeah, which was that whole scene of I love how like oh my goodness, I'm trying to put all my words together. Fix it. It's in there at the command center, and I love how like when they do come in, like he like dives, and like there's the mini-cons are fighting within the command center. It was just it was planned out but not planned out. It was all over the place, but there were things getting done, and that's what I loved about that last part of it.
Yeah, and I think that one of the other things, I mean, we talked a little bit already about how we love seeing the humans get so much to do. And basically, as the series has gone on, they've just gotten even more to do.
Yeah.
And I liked how this episode also showed us the power of the mini-cons.
Yes, they and everything about anytime they show up, I'm like, this fight's gonna go down.
I know.
And it looks really awesome.
It does, yeah. And I just love Jetstorm and Slipstream. They're so cute.
Yeah, I think they're adorable. Every
want...
moment they're on screen, I'm just like, I just want little plushes.
Yes, that was literally exactly what I was about to say. I really want plushies of them.
Guys,
both of them.
My birthday's coming up. You could just send
exactly.
me some plushies.
So if anybody sees one of those, I don't think they exist. But if you wanted to make one and send it to Alexis for her birthday,
please,
she would like that.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, that was the first thing is I would love to have. I mean, I would like to have a Fix-It plushie, which I heard that you guys got to see.
Yeah, they do exist.
Yeah, so I mean, throwing it out in the universe if I can have one.
Yeah. Well, because basically what Russell manages to find out is that whatever they've done to the command center control panels for the security system keeps bots out, but it doesn't affect the mini-cons. Maybe. They're not 100% sure that that's the case.
That's a crazy hunch to go off of, but it makes sense because I don't think they were thinking about the mini-cons
Yeah, well,
because
I mean, Fix-It was already in there, and so was Air Razor, one of the mini-cons that are Fracture's little buddies.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, we don't need to worry about it, and they just completely forgot about Drift's mini-cons.
Yeah,
and I was like,
totally. Well,
smart.
and again, this was a really awesome instance of the Autobots acting as a team.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Omega Wave said Transformers, Angry Birds, and R&D. Oh my god, it's full freaking circle.
It really is Transformers, Angry Birds.
I'm not gonna lie, if somebody made a mini-con Angry Birds app, I would play that.
I would pay money to play that.
I'd be like, you could take all of my money.
I would pay at least 99 cents.
Well, no, I wouldn't go too far, but yes, 99 cents for a usual game on my Google Play or iTunes or whatever. I would
even play $1.99.
Yeah, I would totally do that. It'd be worth it. A whole $1 in caboodle.
Yeah, so if somebody wants to develop that, you already have some customers here at this table.
And I bet you Katie and Megan would do it too.
Oh yeah,
so you got 4 people.
Yeah, 4 people right off the bat. We'll tweet about it. It'll be amazing.
I'll review the game. It'll be a thing.
Yeah, totally. Because I mean, that is basically what happens. So we see this big Autobot team up where they basically decide, okay, we're gonna go in and we're gonna retake the junkyard and stop the Decepticons from being released.
Yeah.
And this is after they figure out, oh, hey, I think mini-cons actually can get into the control center, and then that way they can turn off the subsonics and we can all get in and take back our land, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's what I was saying before. I know I skipped ahead, but that was the scene that I loved the most, was just, again, seeing them get into these little, gosh, I forgot what they were, but like, having them slide down and go into the thing. And I love how I didn't realize what they were aiming for at first. I thought they were just trying to get them in, and then when Russell was like, no, you gotta
not quite, you gotta go this way a little bit.
And he's like, oh, all right. And then he's just like, I will serve you, and then hits the command, the control center.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, okay, I see what you're doing there.
Yeah, the fact that they literally catapulted them in was just delightful.
I loved every minute of it. I was just like, okay, that was really smart. I would never thought of it that way.
Yeah, well, and I like that the rest of the Autobots were all on board to just kind of create a distraction until they could get in there.
That's what a team does.
Yeah.
You have to send a couple of them out to go do something else while you guys are infiltrating somewhere else in the perimeter.
Right, and
this really smart.
And this was the first time too that I felt like we saw Drift really fully integrated into the team.
And I like that he did bring up, again, not to skip ahead, the fact that he's not alone
yes,
anymore.
Yes, I mean, that's exactly it, because basically what ends up happening is that they do succeed in turning the subsonics off. Actually, Denny is the one who ends up succeeding.
I was like, okay, buddy.
Because again, a lot of this episode was focused on how Denny was feeling insignificant.
I think it's so crazy how that's a thing.
Yeah, exactly. And Russell's like, no, Dad, you're the best. You can do this. You've worked on this stuff a million times. And so he's like, I have seen Fix-It do this before. And he tries to use the touchscreen like Fix-It. He goes, maybe this needs a little bit more of a human approach. And he just kicks it.
I was just that brought me back to like Dad like whacking the TV or something to make it work on the side.
It was awesome. And that's how they managed to reseal the Decepticons in the stasis pods. But I liked the battle that they had with the Decepticons when they first got in.
Crazy.
Because first of all, that face-off when there was like the team of Autobots running at the team of Decepticons, it reminded me of the opening credits of the 90s X-Men cartoon.
X-Men. See, because when she said that, I was like, what? And I really, like, I can actually envision, like, all the crazy, like, strobe lights and stuff. And, it was so adorable.
It was like, so great.
Yeah, so if someone can animate that would also be great.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Just take this scene and slow it down and animate it to that
so good.
part.
I just want everything about that.
The X-Men theme song.
You know what? I would like a shirt, too, of, like, them coming out together and having the X-Men font coming out.
Oh, man.
God.
We are just creating...
Our nerds are showing.
We're creating all kinds of products on this show today is basically what we're saying. So if anybody's interested in merchandising Transformers Robots in Disguise, talk to us. We've got some ideas.
But yeah, no, everything about that whole scene, I love how everybody was faced off on from the beginning, of course, of like with Sideswipe and I'm not gonna name all of them off the top of my head because I know there were
a lot of Decepticons.
But my favorite part was when Grimlock was sitting there smashing Clampdown.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun. Yeah, because Clampdown had clamped onto his tail and he's just whacking him back and forth.
It was like a Hulk moment. It was like swish, 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 swish. And I was like, that's why you're my favorite.
Yeah, I just love everything about Grimlock.
It was just a great, sorry. It was just a great, my glasses are fogging up because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
But
she's getting misty and
the vapors. But yeah, that's why I love that whole fight scene at the very end. Really just, it shows that even though we don't have a lot of episodes left, it's going to get so freaking awesome, especially for the finale or the last 2 episodes for all we know.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I just want to bring up something I noticed on Twitter with the hashtag, a couple things. Jade Mullins, who's at drummergirl456, says, was I the only one that thought Kickback's car form was really cool?
Yes. You were not alone.
You were not the only one.
No, I was agreeing
Alexis
with
is
you.
saying, yes, she thinks it's cool.
Yes. Sorry.
And then Erica, eHungry302, says, did you notice no battle cry from Bumblebee this episode?
I mean, there wasn't really time
No,
to
there
do
wasn't.
Because it was like, okay, we're in danger, done.
Well, here's the thing is there was no lame rallying cry, and ultimately it boiled down, and in this episode, I think this is the first episode where we've seen really, really solid teamwork.
And also because of the fact that it was a very serious kind of
episode.
It was
kind of a serious episode.
I know we usually there was a little bit of comedy
of course.
But like this was potential danger, like to the point where Clampdown had Denny and Russell in his clamps. Like that could have gone sour really quick if they wanted to be prime.
Totally.
So, the fact that it was just a very serious episode, we didn't have time for that. I really liked that.
Yeah, I liked that too.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that there was no cry from him, but now it kind of all makes sense. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the Autobots triumph, the Decepticons run away, and there's a moment of, are we going to chase after the Decepticons or aren't we? And B ultimately says, it's more important for us to reestablish ourselves here and re-secure our own base so that we can, eventually attack them from a metaphorical higher ground, if you will.
At one point I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, they're on their heels. Go get them. But
get them.
When Bumblebee did say that, like, hey, we really need to work on the fact that they were able to infiltrate our base pretty much so easily just by distracting us with just tying up a con on the outskirts of the base is pretty, or the junkyard. I don't know why I keep calling it that.
Yeah.
The junkyard.
It is their base, though.
Yeah.
I've
been watching a lot of weird TV. But that whole thing was just like, we really need to. It also shows that even though Drift is the big picture kind of bot. Like I think that it was really smart for Bumblebee to be like, no, like we really need to buckle down on our security, make sure that we're ready. Yeah. Even though they did win, that this is not like a win for all kind of thing.
Absolutely, because I think that what B realized particularly in this episode was, you know what? The cons who we're up against are still kind of a mess. Most of the ones that we've encountered have been absolutely insane. However, they almost got us this time. They're more clever than we think they are.
Exactly. And that's another thing that I wanted to bring up with all of the girls today. But like the fact of this was the most mature.
Yes.
I think Bumblebee has ever been.
I agree completely.
That's why I'm glad that he didn't have a witty, cheesy kind of battle cry, because I felt like he was like, oh my gosh, I could have lost both Russell and Denny. I could have lost my whole team, and all of the Decepticons could have gotten out. Yeah. This could have gone south. Optimus would have not been proud of me. Like I might be preaching too much. I'm getting on my soapbox. But I really like the fact that he really sat there and he's like, this was a bad day to a point.
It was.
And I'm glad that we're all safe, but we cannot let this happen again.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that, Alexis.
I was sitting there like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, we saw B be a leader.
Yes, and I was just like, oh my God, it's getting good. It's getting good.
And let's talk about the very end of the episode.
I was so lost.
Because Steeljaw seems to have his own robot Jesus.
Well, yeah, I was like, what's happening with this? Another Mufasa
okay,
moment?
so apparently anyone who at some point
is alone,
has been a prime can project their dead-ish selves in reflective surfaces.
See, that's what I don't understand. It's like, okay, so we can find anything that's solid, mirror, metal, whatever.
Water, it's cool.
Something.
Yeah, anything that shows a reflection.
The fact that it's just automatically, okay, this person's alone, and I really need to get this message out, and it can be as long as it wants or as vague as it wants. And here you go. I'm like, what are the rules with this?
Yeah, well, and again, this is something we talked about, I think, on the last episode, how we almost would have liked if they had played it off more with the whole B seeing Optimus thing of, is B really seeing Optimus or is he crazy?
And now, but this definitely plays to the point of, no, he's not crazy.
Yeah,
because
apparently Steeljaw can see
I forgot his name.
A secret, well, I mean, I know who it is, but I don't know if I should say who it is.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, we're not going to say who it is, but you all know who it is.
Yeah.
Super pointy cat ears of doom.
Thank you. Yes, that was I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of looks like one of those Egyptian cat gods.
It does look like an Egyptian cat god.
Especially in the form we're seeing it here, where his face is all shaded and you're just seeing like
lights.
Ominous glowingness around his
weird.
face.
I was just like,
But basically, he who must not be named tells Steeljaw, but
Allie said, Robo Satan.
Satan. I mean, if Optimus is Robot Jesus,
Robot Satan.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, basically, he informs Steeljaw that he's the one who made the Alchemor crash.
Yes, which I like that we finally, again, I'm so sad that Katie and them were not here, but we got a little glimpse.
Yeah, exactly.
Of, like,
the Alchemor crashing was definitely not a mistake.
Well, no, of course not. I knew
which
that was
we knew
all into the plans.
Absolutely. But now we know it is his plan.
And I love how Steeljaw was like, you can control me.
Exactly.
I'm the leader of this pack. And I'm like,
right.
Oh,
and I love that Robo Satan basically bargained with Hungry Like the Wolf.
I knew it. I was like, oh, you just.
And he's like, oh, no. Like, just prepare the way for me. We'll take care of everything, and then I'm gonna leave this planet alone.
Guys, it's a trap. like clearly.
The thing is that Steeljaw doesn't trust him either, though.
Well, no, I know that.
But I think this is gonna boil down to something I've actually talked about in Sailor Moon, weirdly enough, where you have two villains, one of whom is controlling the other, and the one who's being controlled by the other thinks that they're controlling.
Yeah, and then
that's
never going to work out
Never.
for the secondary one.
Nope.
Yep. That's why I was like,
yeah. I mean, Steeljaw, because he doesn't trust Robo Satan, he's gonna think, well, he's not in control of me, but when in actual fact,
he is.
He is in control of you.
I love how we were thinking of different names in the chat right now. Allie said Robo Jesus. Fuzzy Pink Bumblebee said Robo Lucifer, which I've actually like a little bit more. Megatron. Okay. But
pretend you didn't hear that.
I was like, what? I didn't say anything.
Even though you all know.
DBZ King 02 said it's Fix It in disguise. I'm like, that would be hysterical.
Plot twist.
But yes, I'm gonna go with Robo Lucifer. That is my vote.
All right.
But yes,
I feel like I've already committed to Robo Satan at this point, or Cat Ears of Doom.
I like Cat Ears of Doom. I'll stick with that. But yeah, like I think that. It'll seem like yeah, I know everything that I'm doing, even though you look like a crazy person because you're probably gonna be talking into random sheets of metal or water. But yeah, I feel like this is where the big battle's gonna come in, and he's gonna be like, I don't need you, and it's like, I am the ruler of this world.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, you're screwed.
Yeah. So I think that about covers predictions. So let's go ahead and officially move on to some news and gossip.
Woo-hoo!
AfterBuzz TV News.
Here's our yellow diamond.
So, guys, guys, season 2. It's officially happening. 2016. I know everyone who's watching this show is shocked because it's not like Mitchell Whitfield said it on approximately our second episode.
Sorry, Mitchell.
But hey, Mitchell, now you're allowed to talk about it.
Because now it's out there.
You're allowed now. Exactly.
It is out in the actual universe now.
Yeah, and I mean, according to Roger Craig Smith on Twitter, I think he said something like season 76 confirmed. So.
All right. Well, then we're going to be here for a long time.
We're going to be here for a long time,
guys.
guys.
Ladies like, did you see?
Did you see what Optimus Prime did the 85th time he came back from the dead?
Almost blew our head thinking about how crazy it was. Jesus.
Oh, man. So, season 2 officially happening. We're really excited.
Yeah, I'm choking on my water. I'm so excited.
Exactly. Alexis almost died. It was a close call there, but fortunately
Robot Voldemort.
Robot Voldemort. I like
Renji.
that. I like that. I was gonna say I feel like the projection, the water she's drinking had a reflective surface in it. So
it was Optimus
Prime told her stop talking, just breathe, and you will live. To cover another season of Transformers Robots in Disguise.
I'm just gonna hang out with him with King Kai.
Exactly.
King Kai.
Yeah, train to defend the Earth.
Yes.
much like Denny came to the realization at the end of this episode.
I'm so glad that he got what he was like, oh, I'm just an average human, but I'm really glad that they were like, no, you're
he said
person.
Basically we're average humans who transcend their physical limitations to secretly protect the planet.
Because I was packing up my things to come on down, and then like that stopped.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, did Denny just stop talking? What just happened?
Happened?
He was like, entrance, and I was like, oh, okay,
all right.
Good for you, buddy. I'm so proud of you. I'm glad that his confidence is
That's
back.
what I like. That's what I like to feel like we do here at AfterBuzz TV with this show. We transcend the limitations of our usual human selves to spread the joy of giant robots to one and all.
Again, I want that on another freaking shirt.
And thank you guys for sharing your love of the show with us. We do have one more review on iTunes that I wanted to bring up. This was also part of the Create a Decepticon challenge. However, the way that RSS feeds work on iTunes, sometimes the reviews don't pop up immediately when you submit them. So thank you so much, however, Soundwave Fangirl, for submitting to that and for giving us the wonderful description of your evil Decepticon named Nightblade.
That's awesome.
I love that both of our submissions were from girls and they were girl cons.
Yeah, no, and that's what we need is more girl cons. But
Exactly.
I also have a question before we go because I know we have to leave. Do you guys think that they're going to introduce any more cons since there are only a couple more episodes left? I don't think so.
I actually agree with you, Alexis. I don't think so either. I think at this point they've introduced enough, and what we're going to see is more of the cons we've seen previously coming back to join in the big battle.
Yeah, because I feel like it's not like it's extremely late in the game, but I feel like it's going to confuse the audience if they add more people in there.
Yeah.
So that's just me personally.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
But that was a really great question, Jade.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jade. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. We always love, we've got a great little crew that joins us every Sunday in the chat room, and we just really love interacting with you guys and hearing from you guys throughout the week. Remember, you can always use that hashtag ABTVRID to keep tweeting your thoughts at us. Alexis, you're making a face.
Sorry, Robo Frieza was another one. And I thought that was really funny.
Robo Frieza! We were just talking about Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F before we started the show. If you guys haven't seen it, it's in theaters right now.
Watch it.
Go see it
right now.
Also, if you go to the Anime Expo playlist on AfterBuzz TV, you can see me interview a bunch of the cast.
You should go check it out. Those interviews are awesome.
It's pretty great. Yeah, the people who work on the movie are super duper awesome. But that is our time here on AfterBuzz TV, Robots in Disguise. Remember, iTunes, subscribe, rate 5 stars, leave reviews, go to YouTube, leave comments, thumbs up, etc. Alexis, where can the people find you?
You can find me all over social media as Torres890. You can also follow me on my vlogs and everything else. Also on our sister network, BlackHollywoodLive.com for Geek Nerd Tech. Don't forget to follow Katie and Megan. Katie's at Kiaje, which I'm not going to try to spell right now, and Megan at The Mingwin.
And you can follow me all over social media at Emma Fyffe. It's my name, EMMAFYFFE. That's all F's as in Fred, no S's as in snake. For those of you who are listening, they tend to sound the same on the phone or when they're recorded. And guys, be sure to check out Alexis and myself on the Face Off After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. That is on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock starting this week. We used to be 9 o'clock. We've since moved our hour back to 8 o'clock. That's when we're going to be on, so be sure to tune into that. Again, guys, be sure to follow AfterBuzz TV and check out all the different shows that we have here on our network. We do over, gosh, Alexis, I'm gonna defer to you as the authority on this.
Technically, we do like over like 100 to 200 shows, but as a whole network, we have like over like 500 shows.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's a show you like, there's probably an after show for it. You should totally go check it out. Thanks for tuning in as always, guys. And remember, time to transform and roll out.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.